Welcome to episode 5 of Spirits Podcast with our guest and editor, Eric Schneider.
We're going to talk about, Eric is going to talk about today a folklore from Appalachia.
Appalachia, as the locals would say.
I'm going to say Appalachia.
You're going to hear us go back and forth.
That is creepy.
It is really creepy.
A little rapey.
A bit rapey, like many good myths.
Yes, like many good myths.
We don't endorse it.
Very rapey.
Just we're marking on it.
And it scared his cousin, so that's a big goddamn deal.
It scared me as well.
A little bit. A little creepy. Kind of creepy, kind of cool.
Kind of creepy, kind of cool.
So we're going to let Eric kind of lead you guys into it to go with our sort of woodsy Appalachian mythology here. We are doing shots of moonshine. We did shots of moonshine. Eric was drinking wine out of a box.
So overall, I think the aesthetic is quite appropriate for this wonderful, homegrown, woodsy Appalachian myth. So today I'm very excited to be joined by a special guest, somebody that I know very well, have met at least 4 times. My longtime internet friend, my old internet brethren, Eric Schneider.
Hello. It's
Hi,
me.
Eric.
Have you guys met?
No.
Yes.
Oh, yes. We did. We got drunk at a bar together, so clearly we've met.
Yes.
So very on brand.
Perfect.
As I
we
do.
nailed it.
Excellent. Good. So I know nothing about what you're bringing to the table today, Eric. I know that it's a contemporary myth and or lore.
Yes.
And neither do I, which is weird.
Yeah.
Right. Julia's normally in the position of power here, having prepared, done her reading, her, footnoted citations.
I am not prepared at all, and it feels very strange, and I do
What's
not like
it like to be on this side of the table,
Scary. Why do you do this?
That's how I do, man. I just roll through life, not prepared, winging it, taking what comes. That's not how I do.
Please
I'm
don't
the
do that
most
ever
type A
again.
personality.
Sounds just like Amanda.
Just then, I felt like I was parodying David Duchovny in those posters for Californication. Is that the show that he's in?
Yes.
Yeah, I've never watched the show. I've just seen the posters and just him lounging with an open tie.
I just assume he just wears aviator glasses and smokes weed the entire episode. That's it. It's David Duchovny sitting at a desk, tie undone, smoking some weed with aviator glasses
I think
on.
he has a lot of sex in that show, too. I think that's a big part of the show.
All right, well, let's not push the boundaries of reality in terms of my,
understanding of David Duchovny.
I'm
That's
not
fair.
a method actor.
I just want him to have dad jokes. That's all I want. That's all I ask for.
I know. I can bring the dad jokes.
Yeah.
Cool.
You
well,
and David Duchovny both.
here we are on our Duchovny couch with Eric remoting in from the great state of Ohio
Yes.
to tell us some myths. Go.
So today I'm going to be talking about the story of Tailypo, which is a Appalachian myth.
Appalachian myth.
Sometimes it is called Tailybones, sometimes Tailypaw, but the common pronunciation is Tailypo.
Cool.
Bones and paw sound like a good start to anything.
Yeah,
But
it
continue.
does.
I first heard this story, I think I was 5 or 6 years old, and we were camping out in Ashtabula, Ohio, and they played this old reel-to-reel film of
Whoa.
Tailypo on the Saturday night amphitheater night for all the kids and whatnot.
That sounds amazing.
That sounds very Appalachia.
And yes, this isn't in Appalachia though, but this old reel-to-reel, I have looked everywhere. Probably every 6 months, I scour the internet for anything remotely close to this recording that I saw, and I have not come up with anything. One of the main reasons I remember it is that my older cousin, he's a year older than me, was scared to death by this thing, and sometimes I'll just text him it, and he's like, I hate you.
Things that scare our cool older cousins.
Yeah, it was a big win
worth
for me because it
remembering.
didn't scare me, but he was terrified. He couldn't sleep that
Very
night.
good.
We'll get to the part. We'll get to the point in which the story becomes very scary. So Tailypo is the story. There is it's hunting season. There's this old sometimes he's a hermit, sometimes he's just an old hunter, but he's very hungry. He hasn't been able to catch anything much this season. And he has 3 dogs. That's also important. So hunter, 3 dogs, pretty much in the middle of nowhere, hasn't caught a lot of game this season. And
recipe for disaster.
The Revenant.
Exactly. the Revenant.
Topical joke.
Topical joke.
Devin Parashi, please subscribe to us on iTunes.
He's trying to hunt one night, and he doesn't get anything, and he goes to bed, and then he hears this scratching. He can't figure out what it is. He wakes up, and in the cabin he sees this cat-like creature with these bright yellow eyes, bright blue eyes.
No.
It's described differently. Sometimes it's described kind of as a bobcat, sometimes as a cougar. The story I remember, this is probably wrong, but my vision is that the tail was that of a skunk, but then the rest of it was very cat-like. So he sees
Interesting.
So he sees this thing, and it scares him. He
no shit.
cuts off its tail. And the
Make a
thing
coonskin cap.
So probably not a bobcat because they have the little stumpy tails. But
probably not a bobcat. But like it has like bobcat-esque ears. It's
Like little
it's
tufty
kind of
ears.
like a mishmash of a bunch of just Appalachian 4-legged
Even
creatures.
scarier.
Exactly.
Sounds about right.
And he gets the tail and it runs off. Sometimes he chops off with an axe. Sometimes he shoots it off with a shotgun. It's an Appalachian folk story, so there's a lot of variations, obviously. So then the creature leaves, and the dogs chase after it as well. Unfortunately,
Naturally.
only 2 of the dogs come back.
No! The puppies.
The dogs, one of the dogs presumably has been gotten,
Eaten.
by the Tailypo.
The dog got.
It got. So then what happens is he sends another dog after it the next day.
Uh-oh.
Bad choice.
That
Terrible,
dog
dude.
also
Doesn't come back.
not good.
No.
Does not make it back.
See, this is the opposite of what you should do.
Exactly.
But like so traditional myth, and like they send the first son to find the golden goose, and then he doesn't come back, and the second son they send it out. You know, that kind
What's
of thing.
the worst that's going to happen on a quest for a golden goose? He finds it and like it's shiny and he stays?
No, usually they end up like not even finding it and be like, I found this brothel and that sounded good.
Right, yeah. Like I found the bride in the neighboring city and goodbye, mom and dad.
So then the next night he wakes up
One dog left.
with the feeling that there's something in the room.
Ah!
Always a
And
good
he
feeling.
hears in a man's voice,
Oh no.
Oh no.
Tailypo,
Oh no!
Tailypo, give me back my Tailypo.
Oh, yeah.
That's what scared my cousin to death.
That is scary.
He wants that
There's
fucking
just
skunk tail
Friggin'
back.
animal parts lying all over the place in life.
Yes.
Fur coats, fur hats, mounted heads on the wall.
And-
Eric, there's one in your apartment.
There is a deer head in my apartment.
The deer is gonna start talking to you, being like, "I want my
No,
body
don't
worst
bring
nightmare.
that into my life. Don't
Body
suggest that the animal
Body
on my wall
po.
starts talking to
I
me.
want my body po."
I want my body pole.
So the creature leaves that night, unfortunately, with the 3rd dog.
Oh, come on.
Is he making the dogs into a tail? Like, what's happening?
No,
here?
I think it's just some
like
kind
weird
of some
human
kind of
centipede style.
some kind of crazy
Ew.
creature that wants to eat a bunch of dogs, and that's what it does.
Or just, you took my tail, I'll take your dogs.
Also,
Yeah.
totally explains why he wasn't catching a lot of game at the end of the season and stuff. That makes sense. Because the Tailypo's eating all his deer and crap.
Yeah, this thing is big.
I know what's up in Appalachia. Deer.
Appalachia.
Appalachia.
Deer, mostly just deer,
Mostly
and one
deer.
Tailypo.
And several bobcats who are too scared.
So another night comes to pass, and the man wakes up to the Tailypo on his chest. Once again,
Like a cat.
Tailypo, Tailypo. He, scared to death, screams, I haven't got your Tailypo. And that, I mean, he's like, maybe if I reason with this
Right.
weird
Cat with a man's voice.
Cat thing that has eaten all of my dogs.
Exactly. It will leave. And that doesn't work because the creature yells back, yes, you have. Yes, you have. He is not having it. And in different variations of the story, he kills the man.
Finally.
And in some more graphic stories, he sodomizes him before killing him.
Yes.
Oh, God. Oh, humankind. What hath your subconscious wrought?
I mean, gotta make it worse for the dude. I'm assuming that
he ate his dogs.
I guess the Tailypo's a dude, we assume. I mean, the male voice and the sodomizing, makes sense, right?
No, it doesn't. In one universe, doesn't make sense.
I like a lot of Greek mythology. Everything makes sense to me.
And that's pretty much the entirety of Tailypo. It's not a super long story.
Here?
I don't think there's a moral.
Animals.
I don't think there's a moral. I think it is just an old Appalachian
This is a
folk
terrible
tale.
episode.
I feel it's like taxidermy is
Or is
bad
it a
might
great
be
episode?
Right. Or like, kids, don't cut off animals' tails for spite. They'll eat your pets, sodomize you, and or kill you.
I'm with you, Eric. I think that a mythology and lore doesn't always have to have like a theme or a lesson at the end of it. Sometimes it's just to scare small children into doing shit that they shouldn't normally do, or not doing shit that they normally would do.
Listening to their parents.
Yes, listen to your parents. Don't cut off tails
don't
of
we
animals.
have enough ennui in daily life?
Apparently
really?
not in Appalachia.
Do we need to continue to tell ourselves stories? I mean, let's think this through a little bit. So, who told this story? Someone's crazy Uncle Bob and his 3 dogs, Jack Black and Morgan.
Why did they end up being Jack Black? Is my question.
Are those the names of the dogs, or is Jack Black with this uncle?
Jack Black is the uncle in this situation,
Okay.
and then all 3 of his dogs are named
without casting
Morgan.
the Tailypo movie, Jack Black as the uncle. The dog.
Morgan Freeman plays the Tailypo.
The dog from Wishbone is one of the dogs.
No.
The dog
Absolutely.
from Frasier is another one.
And Airbud.
And Airbud. If I have to think of 3 hunting dogs, it's those.
I was
going to
do Beethoven, but all right, if you guys want to do Airbud.
Beethoven couldn't fit inside the Tailypo.
Oh, well, the Tailypo is not sized out. You don't know how big the Tailypo
It's
is.
on the guy's chest without crushing him.
I mean, not necessarily. He might have been crushed.
Also, you don't
It
know how
could've been,
much of this dog
holding
he's
its
eaten.
weight on the
He
hind
could take a
legs.
couple bites out of Beethoven.
Aww.
I mean, plus he held the guy down and sodomized him, so he had to be
all right,
somewhat
let's
heavy.
move on. Let's move
on
on
from the
past
details of
that
that part.
particular verb, which need not be said again.
So, Eric, why do you think this is a story that has
Wait,
persisted?
I didn't finish my myth.
Oh, no, sorry.
Keep going.
I didn't finish my backstory. So, someone's crazy uncle.
Jack Black, continue.
Jack Black is telling the story to his kids.
And
She can't even finish. She just finds it so ridiculous.
with Wishbone, Airbud, and the other one.
I don't know
Frasier.
which one you picked. Frasier's dog.
Eddie.
What is Frasier?
Frasier's the show with what's his face.
Kelsey
Eric,
Grammer.
help me.
Wait, this one is in Seinfeld, right?
No,
the
not
spin-off of
Seinfeld.
Cheers.
The spin-off of Cheers.
In my head, Cheers is the bar that they go to after Gilligan's Island.
What? How is that a thing? Why do you think...
This podcast is taking a quick 180
no,
for
but it's so
Amanda and
good.
Eric's podcast, or Amanda and Eric's pop culture hour.
Oh, no.
Okay, listeners.
Readers. We sent you a transcript of this.
Every
You don't know
episode
what's
of Gilligan's
going on.
Island ends with them still on the island. Why are they going to a bar?
I never watched the end of Gilligan's Island. Do they finally get off the island
They
at some
get
point?
off the island in the movie. And then they go
okay.
back to the island. And then at the end of the show, they get off the island a second
So
time.
it's like Lost, but funny.
Yeah,
So
I would
listen, guys.
describe Gilligan's Island as lost, but funny. Just like I
have
described Lost as
no-
Gilligan's Island, but
okay.
with time travel.
Yes.
I have no knowledge of pop culture before the year 2000, before which I either A, was reading books, B, babysitting, or C, was not born. So in my head, when I read about sitcoms from the earlier eras in human history,
They're all connected.
they're all just in
like
a
weird
universe.
multiverse.
They're
kind
all
of
just
thing.
in a universe.
I'm
yes.
willing to bet. I think Frasier was on up until 2003.
It was though.
I doubt. I mean, would a child me be watching it?
Well, wasn't David Hyde Pierce on Frasier?
Yes.
Eric, am I
He
right?
was
I'm thinking of the
Frasier's
right
brother,
show.
Niles.
Yeah. It's a
This
show,
means nothing
Amanda.
to me. This means nothing to
Do you
me.
know who David
doesn't
Hyde
matter.
Pierce is?
Fra-
I
Fra-
know you
Frasier.
know who David Hyde Pierce is.
I know that because he was in the theater.
Yes.
That's how I know.
Yes.
Frasier ended May 2004.
Thank you, Eric.
Your knowledge is way too specific. We're going to
Googled
revisit
that
this
shit.
later.
You
Well-
know he Googled that shit.
As a quality producer, I looked it up.
Thank you.
Whatever with your fact checking and your 2-bedroom apartment in Cleveland.
Oh no, we're getting into this.
I have a 1-bedroom apartment, and it's in the suburbs.
Okay.
That's
I'm
like
reading
that's
my
like
point
having
almost.
that's like having a 1-bedroom apartment in Staten Island by New York City.
Oh, look at your New Year's reference. What? New Year's?
Your New Year's reference. Okay. Bringing it back to Tailypo here. Bringing
Yes.
it back to Tailypo.
Anyway,
You had a question, or can I move on to my question?
no, my final statement
Okay.
was, I imagine this myth arising, right, from like someone's crazy uncle who went off into the forest with his 3 dogs to like, hunker down during hunting season and hunt and like be by himself and recite like scripture or Victorian poetry or whatever it is he's reciting, and doesn't come back, right? So a month after the hunting season ends, said boy, whatever, originator of the myth, goes, looks at the cabin, sees his uncle torn to pieces, / maybe some incriminating evidence about same-sex liaisons. His dogs are missing. In reality, maybe they've gone off to live a happy life free in the forest, like some animal movie from the late 90s must have ended. But
What was that? Hold on,
how
what
do
was
you
that?
react? How do you Free Willy or no? That's the whale.
no.
That's a whale.
What's the one with the 2 dogs and the cat?
That's Homeward Bound with
Homeward Bound.
Homeward
Thank you.
Bound.
Chance, Shadow,
Yes.
and Sassy.
Chance, Shadow, and whatever the last one was.
Point being,
They meet that
inexplicable
porcupine,
events.
and it's great.
Yeah.
You explain
Foreshadow.
them through myth.
Yeah.
Now I should add that the version that we saw as children
Wait, what was this? Was this a documentary? Was it a cartoon? What was it?
It was a live action thing.
Oh no.
I remember Tailypo looking terrifying, but I think it also ended. There are versions that involve a young boy instead of a man, and like no one dies. In the version I saw, I'm pretty sure no one dies, and the dogs do come back at the end. So like I guess the dogs were just lost the whole time because they were showing this to children. So presumably they're not showing like dogs
Where
getting
were you?
murdered.
Were you at Bible camp?
So no animal slaughter in
Yes, but
in
the
children's version.
common myth is, I mean, nobody makes it out alive but Tailypo. But in our version, I want to say I remember it ending with like the man still alive, the dogs coming back to him, and like his family showing up even. I feel like another person shows up at the
That
end
sounds
of
like
it.
a super false happy ending.
Yes, which is why it's not nearly as good of a story.
I agree.
But like, I'm still left to ask, like, what is the point?
How did this story like continue to be told? Like I can imagine it like the drunk around the campfire story, but like someone made a fucking movie about this. Like who went out of their way to make the movie of Tailypo?
There's still like there is the one that I saw on Reels Real, but if you like Google Tailypo, there are like a handful of like books like on Amazon and some like shorts people have posted like Vimeo or YouTube. Like it's apparently like a somewhat well-known,
that's legit.
like somewhat well-known like legend. So like multiple people have made this. Like someone just also made one in like 1990.
Are there other Tailypo encounters out there, or is it just the one guy?
I believe it's just this is the one story, and then there are just variations of it. They're not like it's not like
so
Bigfoot
unusual.
where multiple people are finding Bigfoot. This is the one story we have about Tailypo. no one else has really apparently ever
and
seen the guy.
it's just out there
It's
waiting
just out
for
there
you.
waiting for you and your 3 dogs.
Sodomize you, eat your dog.
I assume it's because no one was stupid enough to cut off this weird, creepy animal's tail.
Yeah, see, that's
Did
the
it
key.
regenerate like a lizard?
If you
No.
it just wanted that
stumpy
tail
bobcat
back.
tail after that.
Is that where bobcats come from?
Here's your moral, Amanda. If the guy admitted to cutting off the tail, maybe
real
he
man.
would have made it. It's a story about not lying. Don't lie to weird creatures like sphinxes. Could you lie to a
you wake
sphinx?
up-
Was there a
I
different?
was literally just thinking of sphinxes.
Sphinxes
Thank
you can't lie to, right?
Yeah. Because they'll be like, no, you're lying. Here, solve my fucking riddle because you raped your mom or had sex with your mom.
Exactly.
Oedipus has a story about a sphinx.
Oedipus is an Egyptian?
No, but the Sphinx exists in Greek mythology.
Oh.
It existed all
I think
over
we'll
the place.
probably get to that
at some point.
through the seasons.
So you could say Tailypo is the Sphinx of West Virginia.
And a good Sphinx it is.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great band name, the Sphinx of West Virginia.
Oh my
That
god,
does sound
I
like a
want
Writing
good
it
band
down.
Put it
Writing
on-
it down.
Put it on the list.
It's on the list. Listeners, you will come to understand that I have an ear for band names and naming things more generally.
Not that she will ever be in a band in which she can name.
Oh no, I have
but-
no musical talent.
No, not at all.
I was actually re-listening to this original Broadway cast recording of Rent yesterday and realized that all of my audition songs are like Anthony Rapp's or Jesse L. Martin's songs in Rent down 2 keys.
Because you're a tenor.
that will tell you what kind of musical talents I have. Anyway, anything else to add, Eric?
I mean, I just don't lie to creatures. If you cut off a creature's tail, own up to it, and everything will be fine.
Wait, is there some like Freudian shit going on there? Like he castrated the animal and so his, I don't know, violated in some way?
I don't know. I mean, if I had a tail,
the tail phallic?
I wouldn't take someone cutting off my
Everything's
tail as a offense to do the terrible thing he does or kill him. Like, I would be like, okay, you should probably go to jail. I might punch you a bit, but I'm not gonna.
I know
but there's no
Tailypo
Tailypo
jails.
jails. So basically, Tailypo, don't cut off animals' body parts.
Really, it's a lesson about not hunting. You shouldn't hunt.
It is. It's almost a moralist, vegetarian type thing.
Which is very progressive for like
West Virginia, Appalachia.
What does this guy
like,
do for a living? How does he just take off hunting season to go live in his cabin with his dogs?
Maybe that's what he was like. That's how he lives.
No, I mean, in
Maybe
some
he
of the
just lives
stories, in some of,
subsistence hunter?
in some of the legends, I did say he is a hermit, so he could just be living out in the woods.
Oh.
So this could just be his thing, and he could just
With his
not be
puppies.
catching anything to eat for a while.
I like to think of the Tailypo just roaming around there, watching from the trees as Appalachian Trail hikers like frolic and take Molly and freaking film their YouTube videos.
Where are they getting Molly from? I want to go
So
there.
you're picturing a modern like reboot
Yes,
of
I am.
Tailypo.
I am.
I'd be into it.
I think it would be a great.
This is
Like-
the one with Jack Black.
Yes. This is the one where Jack Black
No.
trips
This
on
is the
Molly.
one with like Amanda Seyfried and
yeah.
the Hemsworth that's older.
Leo.
Chris.
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 No,
Four.
Liam's the
Liam is
baby
younger.
one.
Eric.
So, I know. I said it. I knew I was wrong instantly.
No, this is the reboot, yes. With Amanda Seyfried, Chris Hemsworth, like inexplicably shirtless, like having sex in a river or something, and then
like Cabin in the Woods, but a little bit better.
exactly on the Appalachian Trail.
No,
Because
he's having
post
sex with
Wild-
Amanda Seyfried or the Tailypo here.
with Amanda Seyfried.
Both
Okay.
at the end.
Between those two, which would we all choose? Amanda Seyfried.
True.
Well, yeah, but then the later scene.
Oh, right,
So
exactly
so
what I'm
these
saying.
two are walking the Appalachian Trail. It's 2016.
It is.
They're like, oh no.
Maybe
there's
2017
there's-
needs to get a budget.
There's
Come
no
on.
Snapchat filter on the Appalachian Trail.
Right.
Stuff like that's happening.
That
Exactly.
sucks.
Exactly, because these days, what any upper middle class, like entitled millennial, wants to do to find themselves is either like go on a retreat to India, but that's kind of eat, pray, love. That's kind of middle age, whatever, kind of passé. So they go on the Pacific Crest Trail, but no, that one is too mainstream. There was a movie about it last summer, Wild by Cheryl Strayed. I recommend the book. And so the lesser known indie version of that is the Appalachian Trail.
Oh, they could come across the cabin from the original legend too.
Ooh. Right.
And they stay there. And
Yes.
and the Tailypo comes for them then.
Right.
Ooh, and they find the tail, and then
Their like rescue mutt that's with them, like wearing a photogenic bandana,
Yeah, it has to be.
goes missing.
And also
the dogs
aviators.
they adopted
Because
from
that always looks good on a
dying.
dog.
Oh yeah,
Right.
And David Duchovny.
David Duchovny. The dog is played by David Duchovny.
Named David Duchovny.
I would name a dog David Duchovny.
I know.
Stop shitting on the rug, David Duchovny. Come on. So good.
I'd watch that movie.
That's what I'm saying. Is there's all kinds of dramatic potential in the 21st century.
I mean, the point being that the Tailypo is a myth that has persisted into the present and totally should be remade into a movie so that we can scare more of Eric's older cousins.
I'm just saying, Hollywood producers, you heard it here first on Spirits, a Drunken Dive into Myths and Legends. You know, it'd be a great movie. We're open to optioning the rights.
We will happily give you our addresses for royalty checks.
Right.
We will skip Amanda Seyfried for Anna Kendrick if you want to go that kind of more hipster style.
I fucked up. You know who we need?
Who do we need?
Kat Dennings.
Oh, yeah.
Kat Dennings looks great in a sports bra. That's very important for anything that's happening on a
And
trail.
has already been in a movie with Chris Hemsworth, so the works perfectly.
Exactly. Their agents know each other, something or other. It looks great in any lighting. Her hair looks great up or down. She looks great in all situations, is what I'm saying. And she could be the one, lone survivor escaping, like, beautifully dirt streaked.
Because she actually tells the Tailypo where his tail is.
She has some
you're
integrity.
supposed to.
And she may or may not be a vegetarian. Like, she plays kind of,
Oh, she's vegan
people.
in the movie. That's why. That's why she survives.
Nice. And her like d-bag Australian meat-eating boyfriend
sneaks a hamburger and then he dies.
meat eating in more ways than one. Oh no! I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh no. So Tailypo coming to theaters near you in 2018.
18.
Yeah,
Give us some time for
probably get
post-production.
A year of pre-production, then film, and
I think so.
it's
I think
real
that's a
easy
solid
because it's almost all one location, really.
Yeah.
You can CGI that Tailypo.
It's gonna be real good. No, we can do Henson Company. We're gonna use real effects.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
I don't want a 400-pound Tailypo Muppet lying around.
I want a Tailypo Muppet lying around. What's wrong with you?
I think whoever did those creatures from Attack the Block would do a great job with Tailypo.
Oh yeah, solid,
Totally
man.
agree. Instead of yellow eyes, have some like green goo.
Yeah, it's easy.
I'm into it.
Spirits was created by Julia Schaffini and me, Amanda McLaughlin. It's edited by Eric Schneider.
Hey.
Allison Wakeman designed our logo.
Subscribe to Spirits in your podcast app to make sure you never miss an episode. Our website is spiritspodcast.com, and you can also find us at Spirits Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and SoundCloud.
On our Patreon page, patreon.com/spiritspodcast, you can sign up for exclusive content like behind-the-scenes photos, audio extras, blooper reels, and beautiful recipe cards with custom drink and snack pairings to go along with each show.
Every little bit helps as we get our first season off the ground. Even better, if you like the show, share it with your friends and leave us a review on iTunes.
Thanks so much for listening. Till next time.